There are few things that have fed more households in America than this recipe right here. Today, I'm gonna show you guys how to make homemade Hamburger Helper. Meet me in the kitchen, let's make it happen. All right guys, first things first, we're gonna go ahead and prep our veggies. Today it's real simple. We got bell pepper, we got onion, we're gonna use a little garlic too, some sun-dried tomatoes, which is a little twist that I like. Obviously that didn't come in the box when we were eating this as kids, but it's delicious. So we're gonna dice our bell pepper. This is how I like to chop mine. Go around the core, keep the seeds intact, much easier cleanup, like so. Always keep your little bowl off to the side to act as your trash can, unless you got a trash can, really close. But I gotta stay on camera, so that's my trash can right now. We're gonna dice up the bell pepper, nice fine dice. Probably only gonna use about half of this. I don't need the whole bell pepper unless you're making a huge serving. This will feed about 6 to 8 people. So nice fine dice on the bell pepper. Save the rest for your omelet in the morning. The bell pepper is also optional, so if you don't want to use this, no big deal. It's not going to really impact the recipe negatively. You could also throw in some jalapenos if you want to spice things up a bit. Totally customizable. There we go. So I'll say about a half cup to a 3/4 of a cup of bell pepper. And then 1 whole onion. All right guys, so for the cheese, I always recommend to shred your own cheese. Has less anti-caking agents, helps it melt a little bit better. Today we're using cheddar, Colby Jack, and mozzarella. Colby Jack is really for topping. It's gonna look really nicely and it melts nicely on the top of the Hamburger Helper, and then the cheddar and the mozzarella are going in the actual dish. So feel free to use whatever your favorite cheese is. Smoked Gouda would work. You can go all cheddar if you want. You can use provolone. Really whatever you like is fine. But these are the 3 that I'm using today. All right guys, so we want to go ahead and salt our pasta water. You can use elbow pasta for this. I like cavatappi just to switch it up, make it look a little bit more fancy since it's Hamburger Helper, add a little razzle dazzle. So in goes the cavatappi. We're to cook it per package instructions, which on this package is 8 to 9 minutes. All right people, bacon. That's the word for the day. Bacon. We're gonna add 5 strips of bacon. Totally optional. If you don't eat bacon or pork, no big deal. You can leave it out. But for the rest of us, this is gonna add a little bit more flavor to the party. Basically making like a cheeseburger Hamburger Helper here. Bacon cheeseburger Hamburger Helper. All right guys, next up is time to go ahead and brown the ground beef. I like to do that right in the bacon fat. If you're not using bacon, you can use butter for this step just to add a little additional flavor. This is 85/15 ground beef, and I like to lay it in flat and kind of smash it down with your hands so that it makes good surface area contact with that skillet and develops a good crush. That's going to add flavor, texture, and color. Very important step. While it's in there, we can go ahead and start seasoning a little bit. We're going with my AP seasoning or just a blend of salt, pepper, garlic, onion powder, things like that. Whatever you like with your ground beef is cool. A little smoked paprika as well to play off the smokiness from the bacon. And a little beef bouillon powder to beef up the beef flavor. Give that about 3 minutes. Once it gets nice and golden brown, we're gonna go ahead and flip it over, then smash it up with a spatula or one of those little, potato mashers or whatever they're called these days. So that's what you're looking for right there, that nice dark color, good crust, good sear. Go ahead and break it up now. Start to cook the other side, then we want to add in our veggies. So next up, we're going to go ahead and add in 1 tablespoon of Dijon mustard, followed by 2 tablespoons of tomato paste, 1 tablespoon of garlic paste, about a 1/4 cup of sun-dried tomatoes, again another optional ingredient. You could throw some spinach in here too if you want to kick up the health a little bit. Nothing wrong with that. It's a good way to sneak in some veggies on the kids. Teaspoon or 2 of worst word in the world sauce. And about a cup of ketchup. Give that a mix to combine, and then we're gonna deglaze with about a half cup to a full cup of beef broth. Add in the noodles, give everything a good sauce, start adding in the cheese, and you can kind of season to taste, add any additional ingredients that you're feeling for your hamburger helper. That's the beautiful thing about this recipe. You can kind of make it your own. It's a blank canvas. You can add whatever you got in the refrigerator, any veggies, any other proteins. Super, easy and customizable weeknight meal here. Next up, to balance some of the acidity and kind of tie all the flavors together, we're going in with about 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. This shouldn't make it overly sweet, but it should balance everything out and kind of marry the flavors. All right, so I'm going to start with a half cup of beef broth, and then we'll add, there we go. And then we'll add a little bit more as needed to thin everything out. Once the cheese gets in there, it might start getting a little thick on you. And at that point, you could thin it out if you need to. Bring this up to a simmer. Go ahead and add in that bacon. And now it's time for the lactose intolerant folks to close their eyes, because we're about to add the cheese. We're gonna go ahead and add in the pasta now. Give that a good mix to combine. And then it'll be time to add in the cheese. Now it's time for the cheese. Going in with the cheddar and the mozzarella. And then we'll top it with the Colby Jack. I'm gonna hit it with a little bit more smoked paprika. We got a nice beefy, cheesy, bacony, which isn't a word, Hamburger Helper. Next up, we're gonna pop this in the oven at 350 degrees for about 15 to 20 minutes, really until the cheese gets brown and bubbly. And now, my friends, it's time to plate this up. This is the part where I say, brace yourself for a trademark money shot. Say it with me, guys, looking good. The only thing left to do is dig in for the taste test, but before we do that, please take a quick second to subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that bell to enable notifications as well. If this doesn't bring you back to childhood, I don't know what will. Look at that. Why are you doing this to me? I'm supposed to be on a diet.
Yeah, the kids could love this.
Yeah, that's what I want.
Hold on, let me know that. Let me leave that back. Ooh. Cheers.